Hello and welcome to the Brunton Podcast Series. Today in the session, we are going to be looking at raw material supplies, but very specifically for consumables within the corrugated and folding carton converting process. Simon, thank you for joining me today. Great to have you with us. Simon, obviously we've had an interesting 6 months or so in terms of supply chains, logistics breakdowns, etc. Tell us how you guys have fared at C&T and in terms of securing raw materials for consumables.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Dan, for having me. A great pleasure to be with you today. It's been a challenging 6 to 12 months. The main raw materials that we purchase are plastic compounds, rubber compounds, and all types of adhesive. And on all of those products, we've seen upward pressure. I think oil prices has impacted it, but also strong recovery across all markets post-COVID. And there's been a real supply and demand issue, which has resulted in upward pressure. We've managed to mitigate that as far as possible by hedging, forward buying, and increasing our raw material stock. So we've made larger commitments to our suppliers. We've taken early discount settlement in some cases, and we've also ensured that we're using our dual supply. So all of our key raw materials are on dual supply to enable us to negotiate with suppliers as much as possible and try to mitigate the increases. But inevitably we've had to pass on some increases to customers, but I think we've managed to make that as palatable as possible. I think to be honest, short-term situation in Russia and Ukraine at the moment I think is likely to exacerbate things in the short term, particularly with what's happening with oil. You've only got to look on the news and you see it continues to increase day by day. But we have, as I mentioned, we forward committed at least for the next 6 months. So we have very good visibility of our input costs at the moment.
And would it be fair to say that these are challenges being faced by your colleagues in the industry in terms of supply for these consumables? So I mean, it's not just for you at C&T. This would be right across the board, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think another key product which we don't actually particularly get involved with at C&T, but steel rule. Any steel components at the moment, steel prices, as I'm sure you're aware, are also increasing very rapidly. And we're aware of our die maker customers. Steel, and that, for that matter, wood is a very key component in any tooling. And I think they're also products which continue to rise. So it's very difficult, I think, for the industry to be living in such inflationary conditions. And one of the things we've had to look at here is looking at lean strategies. How, of course, our input costs are going up, but what about our variable costs? So things such as reducing scrap, better machine utilization, quicker changeovers. We're actively doing that here, and I know our customers are doing the same thing.
And what about in terms of skill retention? Because obviously the industry at large has faced, and it's not just in the UK, not just in Europe, it seems to be globally, that it's how to retain those skilled engineers, the skilled operators, etc. How have you fared over the last 12 months in terms of retention of operators and staff?
Yeah, I mean, personally, we haven't had any issue. In fact, our average age of tenure here is over 10 years. So we've attracted some new blood as we've had natural movement. So some operators have retired, and we've attracted new people. We've had to be competitive, of course. Again, it's another area of inflation at the moment, isn't it? With wage inflation, but we feel that we offer attractive not only salaries but also working conditions. We're offering people the opportunity to be multi-skilled within the factory. That's one thing we've really looked at, is ensuring that people don't stay still, that they're challenged. And so a key component of our training and career progression here is multi-skilling within the factory. So we have various operator stages within the production process, and we're trying to ensure that all of our staff can operate all areas.
So Simon, if we start looking at some of the issues now within the folding carton or the corrugated industry, obviously there's two areas that I'd like to chat to you about. Sure. The first one really is, as we look at run lengths, there's no doubt run lengths are coming down. They continue to come down. What kind of impact is that having on the die cutting department very specifically?
I mean, shorter run lengths inevitably mean more frequent changeover of job, more make readies, and ultimately meaning more downtime. And really that's the absolute enemy of any efficient manufacturing system. But customer demand is driving that. People are committing to smaller run lengths, less they want to hold less stock, just in time. So it's a real dichotomy, really, and a challenge for manufacturers. We have also seen a similar trend here, because we're having smaller run lengths because people are ordering more frequently in less quantity. So it actually goes all the way through the supply chain.
And what about e-commerce? Because obviously that's another obviously hot topic. The trying to replace plastics, etc., within that supply chain. Paper-based packaging for e-commerce seems to be the ultimate solution. So
Sure.
What are the die making departments having to look at in terms of creating the right tooling and the right consumables so that converters can hit those optimum levels for production of e-commerce packaging?
Yeah, I think the challenge with e-commerce is the variability of packaging, and the number of SKUs. And it comes back to your point about short run. We're no longer seeing hundreds of thousands of boxes being in some cases it's thousands or even less than that. So the challenge is lean. I mentioned lean manufacturing earlier. I think anything that we can do to help our customers minimize setup time, improve prepare tooling more quickly, reduction of waste, because of course short runs mean startup waste, and startup waste is pretty fixed. And if you've got startup waste over a short run, the proportion of waste to the actual job is higher. So SMED activity, looking at how quickly you can turn around a job, both from a skills point of view, but also equipment. Any improvements to the machine that you can make to allow that to happen more quickly. A good example of that, for example, would be quick lock systems. So quick lock is, we actually sell some of those products, but they are available from several suppliers, which upgrade existing die cutting equipment, to allow the positioning and preparation of tooling in the machine very, very quickly. So it fits into a standardized frame. The frame is the same for all tools, and it allows you to set up very, very quickly. So a job that might take 45 minutes to make ready, 5-10 minutes. So all of those minutes count. Downtime on a machine is the worst thing possible, and anything we can do to help our customers improve that is got to be the right way forward.
So Simon, let's bring the spotlight back to C&T. You've obviously been very active over the last month or
Sure.
so. We saw some great news that you made an acquisition in Spain. Tell us about that acquisition and how Clear Group now fits within the group.
Yeah, so it's part of an ongoing strategy, really. In the last 5 years, we've moved away from being a UK-based manufacturer of creasing matrix to a supplier of consumables worldwide, with multiple locations now. So this is not the first acquisition we've made in the last 5 years. We've made several acquisitions, one in the US, one in Italy, one in China, and then we greenfielded a site in India. So all of those acquisitions have been part of a strategy to get closer to the customer. And at the same time, we've developed our product range. So we've added thousands of SKUs, not just creasing matrix, but all a plethora of other types of products. So with regards to Clear, how did that fit? Well, we have a very long-term cooperation with Clear. They've been our exclusive distributor in Spain and Portugal for many years. But it wasn't just about securing that distribution long-term. Clear actually has a fantastic manufacturing capability of its own, manufacturing a variety of products for the industry, such as rubber strips, sheets, injection molded plastic components, and laser cutting technology. So it's a great opportunity, we saw, to leverage this capability that they have and offer the products that they manufacture across our wide distribution networks. So very much a win-win.
And is there any sort of developments that you can talk to us about, what's coming over the next 12, 24 months? Yeah,
so we continue to expand our portfolio. That's the area that we're pressing forward on. The old adage of the one-stop shop, that really is what we're trying to do, to offer our customers a single point of contact from where they can get not only great products, but also technical expertise and advice. An example of that, we've recently added the Astin anvil cover range for corrugated die cutting. And that's set to continue. We've got other products that we're considering, other equipment and capital machinery that we're adding to our portfolio as well. And then there will be further geographic expansion. I can't talk too much about it, but we are looking at both new developments and possible acquisitions. So I think our strategy that we've followed for the last 5 years will continue in that vein.
Super. Well, Simon, thank you so much indeed for joining us today. It's been great to catch up, and lovely to hear that obviously business on the upward curve. Let's just hope that the raw material supply chain improves and stabilizes over the coming weeks and months. But Simon, thank you ever so much indeed, and great to catch up with you.
Thank you.